to say this lah. I don't know whether this is an expose or I'm going to get trouble for saying this.
I think
Look at the camera straight. Look at the camera straight.
So, sorry to say, like all other industries, corruption runs deep lah.
Oh yeah.
Corruption runs deep.
Spill the thesis.
Corruption runs deep because I'm okay. Like macam you cakap kan, like okay, let's say the higher ups kata macam, yes, it's time to change. We shall do premium series. We'll do Netflix like or HBO.
Yeah.
Like thingies. Okay, so we set about this budget, big budget, huge budget. Big budget, kita akan buat show yang macam ni, yang power macam ni kan. Who gets the job? At the end of the day, the person who does get the job does not actually want to make good stories.
Yeah.
The person who gets the job is the person who lobbies, who is out for himself
Who
or
has
herself, so
who
that
can
I don't
bankroll
reveal
the whole thing.
who can bankroll, who is in it for himself and his friends. Contohnya, he's not in it to make good stories. He's in it to get the cash, to cash in.
Dia macam our factory workers lah. Low cost, maximum profit. Kita macam top cliff jugalah. So low cost, maximum profit. That's all. Because they are given with a small budget.
So that's why you get konon-kononnya premium series that's like a budget for it is allocated katalah 2.5 million contohnya. The product that you see is worth 800k. Because where does the rest of the money go? Into someone's pocket. I'm so gonna get into trouble for this, but yeah.
But no, I feel a lot of stories like this.
But it's the truth.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. I mean, but it's not just in this industry. You would be naive to not understand that that's how things work,
That's true.
right? But this is the thing that audiences need to know juga. You always question why the shit show at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 10 p.m., when even the next morning. This is the reason why. It's a platform. I mean, I remember last time when I was a kid, I'm not sure whether I'm being nostalgic about this. We used to have great stuff.
We did.
Oh my god.
we did.
Masa
Like,
TV3 was the
like
only
all the
Pengatin
Yes.
Popular.
Yeah.
Orang Gaji.
Orang Gaji, the CD Oraza, Aida Nerina days, right?
Then we had like even RTM had good
HVG
stuff.
dramas, Berharap Memori Jingga.
I'm not sure there's this.
Roda.
There is this drama,
All the
cerita drama
Spectra
called
drama,
Salina.
apa?
Salina ke apa? I can't remember. Bukan Salina the novel, but there is this. M. Nasir berlakon. He was accused, or he was actually convicted because he killed the wife. Then he was sent to another planet. So dekat another planet ni, dekat other planet ni, then he was exiled. Sebagai hukuman dia membunuh. So he was exiled. And then masa dia exiled tu, and then there is another actress called Azna Hamid. Masa tu she was much younger.
Yeah.
So she was a robot or cyborg.
Wait, this was in Shekarama.
Yes.
What?
Cyborg
like
sent to another planet to actually become the companion because he was on good behavior. And then he fell in love with this cyborg, but then the planet was about to be destroyed. So he had to leave the cyborg and come back to Earth, and then dia macam depressed. That was your cerita rama back then.
XX Ray lah back
That
then,
was
right?
like...
There was this cerita rama masa TV3 about murder mystery. I think Zahim was in it. Ke apa? I mean, it was great lah. I mean, I grew up with that. I mean, right? So I thought, I mean, I hate doing this. Nanti orang cakap, ni orang tua. But it's the truth. I grew up with that.
I
But
think
these days,
there were also lesser production houses back then.
Yeah.
You had your staple like Nizarman, Persona, Kuasa Tech, you know. Even Scope dulu had started already.
But I thought more is supposed to...
More you get more stuff kan. But now it seems like macam dah jadi kilang lah, you know, just churn.
You know why? Amazingly, Shamin mentioned it because they would know the cost of telefilm is around 100,000. And 10 years ago, you asked what's the cost? It's the same.
Oh, there you go.
100,000.
See,
It's the same.
You get less sometimes. Like
You
dulu,
track back, it's going to be the same. Kalau you factor in inflation apa semua, just doesn't make sense.
So Pimai thrived like in the 90s, 80s kan. Per episode, I think towards the end, it was getting like 28 to 30k per episode. we are still getting 28 to 30K for a 30-minute episode.
Sometimes less.
20 years later. Sometimes less. I pernah 19, 20K.
The issue is, because there's so many production houses, there's so many people out there. So orang tak nak buat, they can always move to another one. So I was talking to them just now. It's the time that people get unionized. We don't get unionized, they will always walk all over you. Because katalah this writer kata the pay is too low. Okay, alright, I'll just
Get another
because I don't
writer.
really care about the end game. I don't really care about the end product. Asalkan dah siap skrip tu.
Yeah.
I can put I've done this before. I've put some stupid stuff in the script.
just to
Yeah.
see whether it'll fly.
It will never get picked. Like I tulis babi terbang ke apa kan. It will never be picked because no one reads it.
Yeah.
But of course it won't go on the TV lah.
Yeah,
It's how things work. So I mean not very inspiring for what new writers or
Tapi
aspiring
itulah,
writers.
like macam like I mean the group of writers that we usually work with kan. We always, complain about these like challenges. But we have to work, have to put food on the table. But we do try our best in a very limited amount of days of writers' room and revisions. We still like try to make it good. But once sampai set, lain
We
cerita
don't know
lah,
what's
we don't
gonna
know
happen.
ah.
Betul.
Yeah.
No, like it's important to not lose that spark. It's good to always have that spark. I mean, of course, every once in a while you get tired and then you get jaded. Macam like, ni mampus lah semua ni kan. But it's important to not lose that spark. Like, you look at things and you remind yourself, why is it so worth fighting for? Why do you want to fight for this? Kenapa? Because of all the movies and the series that we've mentioned in the past, meaning that
There's
macam,
potential. We know there's
there's
potential.
potential. Kita
Yeah.
tahu kita boleh buat benda ni. And I always say this, Asians are the best storytellers. Asians are the best storytellers. We are, because we have macam a wealth of culture.
Yeah.
We have our history is so rich kan. So we are the best storytellers and we know this. So we want to make this, but the people, the top people in it has to care about it also. But I also like the fact that we are going down this whole apa nama ni, YouTube route, right now. Not YouTube route, but OTT. Not OTT yang macam view ke apa ke tak, like their own. So power to storytellers.
Yeah.
Like macam, you know what, you tak nak buat cerita ni, blah blah blah.
Aku buat sendiri.
I'm going to do it on my own.
Actually that's a good point. Macam tadi I was talking about influencers as if it's bad to actually. It's not really bad. I mean, having influencers to work on your stuff, it's not necessarily bad. You got to be able to have contacts here.
Right.
Some influencers, they're good. They build the followers. They invest
in good content.
They invest into building good content. Kan? They invest into themselves, right? These are good people to work with. I mean, and also this is also a good sort of shout out to some of the people who think they're talented out there, like actors ke apa. You got to build your own content juga.
Yeah.
You got to build your own followings because in a way you got to compete with that. That's the reality. And then you go back, now you have a chance to actually put on your stuff on YouTube.
So kalau like the new writers too, like if you want to like get into it, have something that you do on the side that keeps you inspired, keeps you wanting to do more. Like Nado, I think your novels, right? Like that's like different playing field, and then you've got your generasi Gen Y on YouTube. I do stand-up comedy, so that helps me like excited.
Yeah.
So I don't like jaded sangat nak quit,
That spark lah. You
Yeah,
gotta keep
yeah.
on having it.
Because like Nedo, like okay, with her book she's writing. With my stand-up, I'm writing. So it's still writing.
It's your own.
It's your own.
It's like
you
your
can,
own
you can
thing.
jaga. Yeah. So
Text your mom.
text your mom. Yeah. So if you new writers, if you want to get into it, like have something that's yours, just to keep the passion alive lah. Kalau tak memang,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's macam mana nak cakap again lah, it goes back to the top. Whether or not diorang nak tukar ke tak, it goes back to the vision on the top. Because kalau tak, you will still be here.
Tulis macam mana good ideas pun,
Yeah,
if it doesn't get approved.
And of course, another thing that we need to be mindful of, bila kita bercakap apa yang bagus tu, it comes from ourselves.
Right.
Some of the guys out there maybe cakap like, oh, apa yang ada sekarang, it's good enough for me. What are you talking about? So then, there is that juga. So we might not be right. I mean, what I'm sharing with you is based on what I know, and what I know is very limited. And if people disagree with me, it's fine. Because throughout the years, what I learned is that, I mean, dulu I'm a bit critical about the way audiences pilih stuff. These days, I know that cannot be changed. It's a reality that you have to accept. But what I believe is that if something is good, people will gravitate towards what's good.
That's true. That remains. Right?
That remains.
Yeah.
You can't force it at this point A, but in the longer run, maybe 20 years, you will see that happening. And then they will go back to masa point A ni. Oh, remember that film last time? That was good. It's just that we didn't go to the cinema and watch it. The writer and the whole team died. But it's so good.
Yeah.
But that's the truth. If you're good, you did something good, you'll just leave it there, and then.
But talking about the truth, talking about in the end, people gravitate towards good content.
Yeah.
And that's the macam apa? In the end, that's the ultimate truth kan.
Yeah.
Tapi going back, let's say 2 decades. Let's just go back 2 decades kan. If you
Which
think
is 2000.
2000 kan.
Shit.
Macam if you think about it, there is a shift. Macam 2 decades ago, series dengan series sekarang a lot different.
Very different.
Kan?
Yeah.
And dulu macam good content, bila orang fikir good content atau great content, people fikir movies. And then even series in the US, mostly macam NCIS,
CSI. Yeah.
Until a few odd ones.
HBO started kan.
HBO,
a bit more
AMC kan. Series like The Wire or Breaking Bad started to come out and redefined series sampai sekarang.
6 Feet Under.
Yeah.
Right, macam do you think that's going to be macam in Malaysia? We're not seeing that yet. Macam dekat negara lain, even in Indonesia, macam people like all the streaming platforms start invest in series yang macam start apa?
Gossip Girl.
People say Netflix budget. Okay, Gossip Girl, there's a Pretty Little
Liars,
Liars.
the Indonesia
Indonesia,
version,
macam
right?
Netflix budget orang panggil kan?
Yeah.
Netflix quality. Tapi it's not really happening in Malaysia yet. Why is that? Like, is it because
Small market.
Small industry. Our industry is actually very small.
Very small.
Then because selalunya yang paling dekat kita akan bandingkan ialah dengan Indonesia sebab jiran kan. Indonesia is huge tau. It's huge. It's a very unfair comparison because Indonesia is huge. Katalah macam contoh you buat satu filem dekat Malaysia. And then katalah the film is good tapi tak dapat the kind of profit that kalau you and in Indonesia all that film needs is 10% of the population to go and watch it. That's our entire population. 10% of Indonesia's population is our entire population.
even if it's shit?
Yeah.
It's huge. It's tak boleh compare.
Actually, it's small, but it is made smaller because we are polarized.
Yeah,
Malay watch Malay content,
Correct, yeah.
Chinese watch Chinese content, Indian watch Indian content.
Sebab if you think about it, there are a few countries juga yang macam about our size. And you know, ada orang buat comparison between Malaysia dengan UK. We're not too much different.
I would say they're about the same. Dia macam kalau you tengok English series kan, like pelakon ni ada series ni, dia ada dalam series tu, macam it's very much like here, right? Azan Rani is in like that series. So I guess it's a bit similar.
But then they get to like sell their product.
They own their IP. They
own
get
their
to
IP.
monetize their IP. You know, their ideas, their concepts. Yeah.
Population sama, system lain. Different system.
So I think that's also like an important thing, right? Like IP ownership.
Oh yeah.
We don't own our IP. So it dies with the station. All of our hard work, you know. So I recently...
They don't want to do anything about it. They don't want to do anything about it lah.
Actually, sebenarnya you gotta benda yang paling penting sekali, you gotta sort of like establish where do we want to go sebenarnya. Do you really want to go into making Netflix stuff? What is it? Problem is kita tak ada roadmap. We do not know where we're going.
The people in the position to make this roadmap are not making the roadmap. You know, what's our film policy,
Because
our media
kalau you
policy,
ada
you know.
roadmap, then you ada political will to change. If you don't have a destination, we are just gonna be bickering like this. There'll be your show ni next year pun akan ada lagi. If you the next 5 years you invite other people, you still be talking about the same thing.
And it's not from my dad's time, tau. It's from P. Ramlee's time.
Yes.
It's like
Sekian lama. It's the same.
When I first joined Twitter, which was 10 years ago, the issue is the same. Has never changed. Small market ni.
There needs to be government
you akan balik ke
interest
situ
lah.
juga. Small budget lah. You akan bertekap macam tu. We are actually recycling the same issue sebenarnya. It's just different players now. Maybe the younger generation perhaps akan go through this and they become the voice pula to voice out this frustration.
But what now then? Like, macam, what's the step forward for creatives? Are we just gonna,
Venture out.
Venture out.
Venture out. I mean, if you have the luxury to do it, you have a lot of platforms out there, you got to be bold, just pitch.
For the younger generation, I think is doing their own stuff, their own with
There's
their own time,
dah
their own
kita punya
budget.
media like so democratized kan. Everyone can make their own content.
Yes. Like this.
Yeah, like this, you know. And then even like I think in America, a lot of shows are getting like commission because the creators did like a mini series on YouTube. I think Broad City, I think they started off as
I
like
think it's a good
YouTube
progression.
content and then Comedy Central like picked it up, you know.
Yeah.
So you gain traction lah, you know.
Because mainstream ni usually dia orang agnostic sebenarnya to agnostic to what is good. But dia punya religion satu je. Duit. Which means berapa banyak orang tengok. Katalah this show, this talk show that we have today. Suddenly tomorrow, next day you build a following of around 10 million views. Every ni 10 million views. I'm not surprised.
Minggu depan dapat call. Hello?
I'm not surprised. They don't really know pun. Dia tak ada direction pun. We are going to have something that is very edgy apa. Tak ada pun.
Tak ada.
10 million
Ratings,
views.
money.
10 million views.
ratings.
Macam Mail Tote, for instance, right? He built his own following.
Yeah.
I mean, dia ada dia punya tu. I mean, I can't fault him for making something like that, but he built his own followings. So, on the other end, siapa-siapa yang berhasrat untuk buat benda sama, they just should learn on how to build your own following. You don't need the stations to build your followers now. You build your own platform.
That's the new norm now.
I think that's marvelous. I think that's
Yeah.
great. Power to the creators, power to the
Ownership.
content makers, ownership pun diorang punya. I think it's awesome. I think it's
Yeah.
it's the great way to
You
go
gotta have
forward.
brain and a bit of...
A bit of money lah.
But it's a great
Or
way
ask
to
for
go.
favours.
It's a great way to go forward. Like if you feel as though something has a following or a particular traction, and you decided to go for it on your own, by all means.
Yeah, I was wondering the other day. I was looking at Aswara. Kan? Aswara had this fantastic talents, raw talent being shaped into diamonds, for instance, right? I'm wondering, betul I check tau, kenapa dia orang tak buat their own YouTube channel lah? Showcasing the whole thing. Like they should start build dia orang punya followers from now. I was just, apa you tak buat benda macam tu? You have singers, you can have your own shows. You guys can actually go there and you know.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
That's true.
So budak-budak ni, the issue is these students when they go out, they don't get to practice because the jobs are limited. Some of them tak ada package, so they end up kerja gomen. Kalau tak ada nasib,
I think also like
jual
macam
burger.
kat sini like
Kan?
this is from my observation lah, like there's no okay, I mean, don't know if I'm using this word correctly. Symbiosis, synergy between like TV film,
And the
novels, and the theatre industry. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
so for example, Bridgerton, which is on Netflix.
yes.
The entire cast came from like the theatre scene, like with very new actors. It was based on a novel.
Right.
And then they got Shonda Rhimes to do it, you know. So that's like you get the best of like all
Integration
this integration, you know. So then you get Bridgerton, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so-
was talking about it just now.
Yeah.
Like how the whole help that was given throughout pandemic is given through multiple agencies. You have Penjana, you have Mak Creative, and everyone's working in silos.
Silos, yeah.
Everyone's announcing their own thing. Then you have the top guy to, okay, this is the whole package. Now you go find it in these multiple buckets of help that we have through multiple websites. Just click it, click and click and click. And it's throughout. Kenapa you tak boleh calibrate? And this is the creative industry. Have a vision for it. Why can't you do that? Because if you don't have that, then you don't have a single drive to push it forward. The result is we will still have this talk show next year. Following year.
Good for me, I guess.
Because bila you dah calibrate the whole thing, then you ada a good assessment on theatre industry, for instance. How many original writers we have in that scene? Are we creating enough writers from there? Is there a good work that we can transform now into a good
Film or
film
TV.
or TV shows? So if you really want to push it, you should calibrate the whole thing. We have a studio that has the capacity to shoot wonderful stuff down in JB. What
Oh yeah.
happened to that?
They're expensive.
So that's
and
why I said-
none of the productions could afford it.
Exactly. So that's why I said you really have to think this through. If you really want us to become, macam kalau you rasa content will be the BTS, the K-pop group actually contributes about $4 to $5 billion a year to the South Korean GDP.
God damn.
BTS.
Tapi it's a systemic thing though. Korea made sure that
Exactly.
that
So I'm getting to that lah. So I'm
Yeah.
getting to that lah.
From the top.
So kalau you really think that this is really gonna be the next thing that contributes to your economy, calibrate, have a direction.
Then macam
Which is
road to
sure.
Oscars kan. I get it. You want one day one of our films
Because
sampai Oscars.
that's the measure that they can fathom.
They can fathom, right? But then you need to fix all the
Yang bawah-bawah
foundation
ni.
first before we can make the stuff that will
Right.
inshallah get us to the Oscars lah. Yeah, you know.
Me-
But
eh,
if you don't
you
change
mean-
these things, then
Ballsiness. It boils down to
ballsy.
ballsiness.
Dia kena ada
Betul.
big dick energy lah.
Betul.
There is
Because-
nothing
yeah.
wrong with dreaming to be in winning Oscars.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. Cuma orang were cynical about it. It's because macam
Fundamentals tak betul lagi.
you tak ada the equipment, bukan equipment, you tak ada the ability, capabilities, the infrastructure, the ecosystem, semua tak ada. Straight away you dah announce macam tu, which is not wrong. I mean it's fine. I mean
It's fine to dream.
I mean,
It's fine to
I
dream.
To
pun
have a
boleh
goal
announce
is okay.
one day kalau I pula macam, kalau I have a political party, I punya goal, I nak menang World Cup. So people will
Yeah.
think, okay, that's a good goal. That's a good goal. Okay,
Like,
alright. I mean,
Sekarang ni people keep on comparing it to like macam Korea kan. Because
Bong
Yeah,
Joon-ho,
K-drama,
especially.
yeah.
So because Parasite won Oscar, so everybody kept comparing to Korea. But you gotta understand the sacrifice that Korea went through to get to where they are right now.
Yeah.
They basically shut off, betul ke? Shut off the entire world for like a
Yeah.
year and like macam no outside movies. Korean movies
Yeah.
only. Outside movies tak tunjuk.
in the 90s.
Dekat Korea.
Yeah.
No outside movies. 1 year, just Korea. So bila you ada 1 tahun di mana only Korean movies are being shown,
Yeah.
you cannot afford to show shitty shows.
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
that's the only entertainment for the
yeah,
people.
yeah.
And
Right?
dia really should export actually. Macam, you know,
Yeah.
the Korean creative industry has music. There's
semua.
movies,
Everything,
dia
you know.
holistic.
When they
because in
did-
the 90s, there is this, memang they decided to export Korean culture abroad.
Soft culture.
They wanted that. It's a vision.
For films, they were inspired by, because masa after the revolution, they were interested in what? Technology, cars, and soft culture, entertainment. And their inspiration was Jurassic Park. Because Jurassic Park made the same
Yeah.
amount of money Hyundai
Yeah.
made
What?
by churning out X amount of cars. So they're like, baik aku buat.
Movie.
They
So that's
had that
Jurassic Park was
realization.
their inspiration
But
to
it
like
was a good film, wasn't it?
invest in films, you know. Yeah, it makes more sense. And yeah, like you see what BTS, berapa billion, right? Yeah.
Because
it's
let's
crazy.
face it, I mean, all this, yes, they make it seem as though it's organic, but it is somewhat manufactured.
It is.
Right? They orang come, the amount of
formula,
auditions and the
yeah.
System and
formula.
You know what was the
Yeah.
game changer actually for Korea? Is when the chaebols or the
Chaebols,
large
yeah.
corporates, macam I think it was Samsung, started investing into K-dramas.
CJ. The food company.
You imagine dekat Malaysia, Petronas starts taking interest into making content for Malaysia. They start so then bila orang tengok macam tu, oh, that means bukanlah Petronas may be a bad example because there is a GLC. Maybe some other large corporate lah. I don't know who's famous. Is Top Glove, for instance. Top Glove starts investing in making films. People will start thinking, hey, it's a profitable business. Why else would they be investing in that? So bila benda tu start dekat Korea, then all other corporates starts investing, and then there is a push to export it abroad because they want to churn more from it. Dekat sini, okay, the market is small, so time to think about how do we blow it up abroad, because we've had before. I mean, our animation stuff is quite good.
Yeah.
Animation stuff is quite good. So that's one of our strengths. So tapi to me semua tu bukan by design. It's not by design.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah.
Kita selalu celebrate benda yang bukan by design.
Betul.
Kita suka ambil kredit.
Macam
Kita suka ambil kredit.
Betul. Malaysian.
Macam, Malaysian won something in Taiwan. Okay, ambil kredit. Oh, James won Malaysian. Kita suka ambil kredit. It's something that is not by design. It's weird. If you design it, then that's fair.
Is people
If
also
you
like
create these filmmakers, then that's fair. Cakap Malaysian filmmakers.
yeah,
No, but
James
you
Wan
don't.
pun kan, people like to claim him kan macam kita
Dari
tak
zaman
buat
Michelle Yeoh
apa-apa
lagi.
pun. We didn't help him at all with his
Yeah.
career. We cannot own him, you know.
Yeah.
And I read an article, people asked him why he left Malaysia, and he said masa tu piracy was like rampant, and it looked like no one was like taking stern action. He was like, I don't want to build my career here, so we lose lah.
And I would like to say thank you for
There was such
for
a
coming
downer.
with
Was it a
this.
downer? I feel like
It wasn't a downer because I'm leading to a question.
Okay.
But before
Alright.
I end it, because I wanted to. The question is related to what you just said. What are your hopes for aspiring writers that are coming in? Because you said something that change might not happen in my lifetime, with
Yeah.
my kids.
Yep.
Right, but we can't keep losing James
But
once.
hang on. It won't happen to your kids if you don't
Yeah.
actually push for that change.
Right.
It's
I gotta
us who
push for
have
that
to
change.
push.
Then the next generation gotta push for that change. Then the next generation may actually enjoy the benefit. But if the buck stops, nothing changes.
So we have to keep.
Correct. That's your purpose.
Have to keep fighting.
So what was your question again?
The question, yeah. So I think that answers my question actually. So for aspiring writers,
Yeah.
macam the hopes for aspiring writers, I think they should also keep fighting and know that it is a fight.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
a battle. It is competition. It's beyond that. It's not between writers and writers. It's a
Bigger picture,
A
yeah.
bigger picture. It's a messy room of a lot of wires that you have to, Yeah, but I think they don't know that yet. I think a lot of aspiring writers that I know of.
Do you want to be a writer? What do you want to write for? Do you want to write novel? What medium do you want to write? You tell me, Z.
Wow, that's a good question.
We put him in the hot seat. Kan?
Wow, I think it's a good. I don't know. Maybe I mean a
You tell-
series
you
or
tell
a
us.
movie would be fun. I
Okay.
guess.
What stories?
What kind of story?
Ooh, sci-fi or
Okay.
a gangster.
What would be
films or-
your next step to actually pursue that? Practical next step.
I would write.
You would write, but then how do you sell it?
Oh, that's the network. and
Exactly. So benda-benda ni lah. If you are an aspiring writer, you got to establish connection. Net did that. Masuklah jadi muka tebal lah sikit apa. Or either that ataupun you ada close friends who
Right.
supports your work, and then you do it independent because you have a bunch of good crews behind you. You do your own thing.
You have to have an entry
You
point.
put yourself out there.
Nado and I guess like we're kind of like the same spot where we had to go in without people knowing our dad.
Yes.
I had to do that too.
Yes.
I didn't want to work my way with people knowing who my dad was. It was
Faham.
only like 5 years in baru orang like,
Oh, you
okay.
are.
Connect the dots.
Yeah,
right.
connect the dots, you know. But it's good to, like Nedo said earlier, to work with different production companies, learn how other productions work, and yeah, you know, it challenges you. So sometimes I get DMs in my Instagram or Twitter who ask how to start, and then I said, unfortunately, because sometimes these are people from out of town. I said, unfortunately, all the production houses are here. So I would suggest, like, I mean, if you really
Yeah.
want it, you move here, and then you start working with them as like AP, AD, like Arif Zulkarnain, like he's a director. He used to be Kabir's AD, and then now he's directing his own stuff. Yeah, so you start there lah, you know, start from you get into production company, then you start working up lah. You build contacts, you pass your ideas to them. Yeah.
Another one. Look for platforms like BMW Shorties, for instance. BMW Shorties winner usually gets a lot of attention by creative agencies, film productions, sometimes
Brands.
TV stations and brands. That's where you start. Kalau you rasa it's quite hard to break into it, right? But you have great ideas. You invest some money, go into all these platforms. You got because in this sort of like vocation, I mean, and you gotta ask this both because I don't do it full time. They would know how challenging it is to get a break. So it's either you tunggu and sit down and whine, bila lah aku nak, or you actually create something and then put it out there
In whatever form, right?
in whatever form.
And always be ready to be thrown straight away into the deep end of the pool. Because you don't get to choose baby
The
pool
level
dulu.
of entry
Tak
kan.
ada. You
Yeah,
tak boleh.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't get to choose okay baby pool dulu, baby steps, and then lepas tu kita slowly
Tak ada,
masuk
yeah.
dalam merangkak. No, always be ready to, because straight away you akan macam boom before you even know anything.
Right.
Sometimes you're always macam terus thrown into the deep end of the pool.
Right.
Macam tu tau. So you have to be prepared for that moment to straight away, and then also never say no to it. Never say no to it, because nowadays kan macam kids nowadays have this term imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Ah,
right.
I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not good enough for this.
Yeah.
No, chuck that out.
Buat
Throw
je,
that away.
kan?
Buat
I still
aja.
suffer from that these days. Like, boleh ke? Can I do it? But you just have to like
Check it
silence
out.
that voice.
Betul. You have to like straight away go into it, because right now I'm slowly taking macam younger writers under my wing, katalah macam, because well like for us somewhat already established writers, the production houses or the TV stations will straight away come to us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And because they don't know of the existence of these younger writers. So
Writers,
it is
yeah.
our,
Yep.
not to say responsibility lah,
But
tapi
to start
kita
introducing
punya-
them
Actually,
lah.
that's a good
Yeah.
point. You engage with more established writers.
Writers.
I mean, most of them will be glad to share their own names. I mean, usually macam sometimes I get emails from people. I mean, usually my advice is just show me your first draft je. Because a lot of people aspire to write, but you are not yet a writer until you actually
write.
have your first draft.
And you cannot come with nothing lah, of
Yeah.
course.
Because
Memang
I can't
you
comment nothing, right? I have this
Betul.
idea about a script. Where's your first draft?
Yeah.
Because sometimes like macam people like us kata, we would like you to macam head write a series apa semua. Normally they would ask us, do you have your own set
Writers.
of writers?
Yeah.
Do you have your own
Yeah,
set of
that's true.
writers apa semua kan to bring with you so into the writers room, and then you head write it. So this is the opportunity, like connect with people who
Yeah.
are like us.
And then send your draft.
Yeah, and then send your draft, send your resume or CV or whatever.
Don't go kata kat net, I nak jadi writer.
Yeah, I bet.
Boleh tak? Lepas
Boleh
tu boleh
tak?
tak I jumpa Reza Minhat?
Kan.
Reza Minhat ada tak? Ada tak? Sekali dalam writers room. Sebenarnya.
No, but seriously, if you have first draft, I mean, I've read first draft before. I mean, they've given me their draft.
I think
Then
like
you can work on it.
Like macam Adam Zainal, Kantoi came out. It was on YouTube,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, that was
And I
great.
saw it, and then Perempuan Productions got like a short web series, and And I was like, we get him to direct.
Ha.
So it's that, you know, you have to also, I mean, like, I guess for the slightly senior writers, watch the newer writers, the newer directors, and start collaborating with them lah. Yeah, but sometimes macam it's so hard to access their work juga, kan?
Yeah. You gotta be bold. I mean like macam tak apalah. You tebalkan muka macam Rizal cakap tadi, you have to tebalkan muka. You just simply DM. But don't DM with nothing lah. You macam DM kata, okay, I have this like a whole
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
that
yeah.
I've written.
You send a script to either any of the writer, they'd be glad to ni. I mean,
Yeah.
I would give it 80% lah. 80% of the time they would say.
Tapi
they
selalu
would-
macam tu, when you tell them, send me something.
Nah.
Dia cuak dia takut.
Yeah.
And then I think like there are a lot of macam workshops being done apa semua, join it. Like join all of them. Like learn from macam okay lah, macam kita orang ni maybe half mainstream, half indie.
Yep.
I don't like to put labels lah. I think everybody's writers are writers lah.
Yeah.
But
Right.
maybe like macam whenever like katalah the more mainstream, the more experienced, the more mainstream ones do it, like macam Sophia Ryland ke or Wan Hasliza ke apa, go and learn from them. By all means go. You have to do this. This is the legwork that you have to do. It's like treat it like any other job. You do the legwork and then you work your way up. Sama
Yeah.
like any other job. Sama je.
Lepas tu, don't limit yourself to just writing lah. Right? I mean, you can attend acting workshops, for instance.
Yeah.
It will be
It adds
beneficial.
perspective as well.
Betul.
Yeah, it will, because sometimes, right? Okay, this is Mehmet lah, right? He writes a dialogue, right? And then when actors rehearse, then the actors fumble that line again and again and again and again. Then dia tahu dalam diri dia, because he himself is a performer, he knows that line is a bad line.
tak sedap
It's
ni.
not
Yeah.
natural,
Not
tak
rolling
sedap, then
off
you
the
take it
tongue,
out.
yeah.
So if you join all this, you know what the actors experience.
Yeah.
You would know how to give it dimension.
Right.
Because sometimes, like for me, as an example, when I write, right, if I get a good actor, I don't have to put dialogues pun. I just have him to be there.
Cenat Zainal in Kami Hysteria.
You
And
don't-
then I
have
had
any
zero dialogues.
Oh, really?
Income
Yeah.
hysteria. Yeah. Oh, that was another
Shit,
big
zero
movie.
dialogue.
No, that's the if you want to talk about that, and then there's a whole chapter about screenwriting, because screenwriting is really not about dialogue. Dialogue, theatre for plays, yes, dialogue is dialogue based. But you move to screen, it's visual.
Visual.
Yeah.
It's different.
Expression.
Exactly. So you if you stick to multiples, then you start to understand the medium. Macam Nat has the luxury of buat novel, and then goes to screen, and then she's written plays. Shamin's written plays. Right?
Actually, theatre is also like a good place to like go and watch. Because I guess there's less censorship. You get presented like
You
more
want
brave
witty
ideas.
lines, you want witty dialogues, you watch a play. Because play is a actor's medium.
Yeah.
A screen is director's medium. So director yang you just furniture je, just move, and then just say.
Yeah.
Macam there was this
Then
one
edit.
dramaturg said, which made a lot of sense to me. Theatre is when the actors make things happen, whereas film is when things happen to them. So it's like that. So I thought it made a lot of sense. Macam bila fikir-fikir balik, betul lah. Like in theatre, the actors have to like macam memang actively make things happen. But in film, it's about things happening to them. So because you make full use of, because you have the luxury of going to different scenes, different places, so you can have things happening to them without basically them actively doing things.
There's this show on Amazon Prime, Fleabag.
Fleabag was a play.
Yes, Fleabag.
Oh, really?
Fleabag was a
Correct.
one-woman play.
It's really good.
The first season was based off her one-woman play.
It was from a one-woman play and shot like it's a play.
Yeah.
Shot like it's a play lah. It's like a monologue. He breaks into.
That's why they break the
Yeah.
fourth wall
Yes.
too. Yeah.
The second season, ada orang start sketching her breaking fourth wall, which is quite funny. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
Open up your medium
So
lah.
you imagine macam mana I tengah fikir, macam kalau kat Malaysia macam nak buat benda ni, boleh ke? If I pitch benda ni, is it gonna, kan? Is it possible to have parks and recreation in Malaysia?
Ooh, that would be great,
Right?
honestly.
Macam jabatan JPJ
The
ke apa.
office style.
Yeah.
And-
Mockumentary
Ooh,
kan.
that would be great, honestly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you have a lot of this, but it will come soon. Maybe 20 years down the road when they've moved on to something else. Kita kan selalu macam tu kan.
Kan.
That's why if you want to write, because writing is here, it's not here.
That's true.
Right? If you write, macam this is me lah. My process of writing is 3 weeks of actual writing, but 6 months of just sitting down and
Thinking about
thinking
it.
about it. Kan?
Let's consider it as a writing process in a way.
It is.
Yeah.
Writing process is that. Largely that, thinking. So if you want to write, and that means you have to do a lot of thinking, you got to have something to think about. So how do you have something to think about? You got to read, you got to watch, you got to talk to people, you got to live. Sebab tu orang cakap to write is to live.
It is. It
Because
is
otherwise you share nothing.
Yeah, but there's so many things like writers can look to inspiration. Like we talked about theatre just now, about music. This one likes to put like music in his script.
This one
Like-
likes to.
Listen to this song when you're reading this scene. It helps, you know. Yeah, there's a lot of things that
It
you can
pushes you
draw
lah.
inspiration
Poyo
from.
sikit lah, but.
Yeah, for the new writers. Yeah,
Inspiration is everywhere, right?
yeah.
Right. All right. I think we had a good hour. There was a lot of juices. No name drops this time, guys. I'm so sorry.
Very vague, huh?
Very vague. Tapi,
Station.
tapi you know, I guess maybe you can guess. It's up to you.
Top people.
I mean, people know lah. Even
Yeah.
we don't name drops ke apa. I mean,
Betul.
people know. I mean, I think the point is not about no name dropping or anything. We are just talking about if we are wrong, then shows that we are wrong. I mean, there are better way to see these things that's happening around us. But as we see it, this is what's happening. If you can offer me a different view, I'm very happy to listen to it. But if I look at it, I've done my analysis, I have my data. This is the reality. So if you wanna show me something different, I'm happy to. I'm open to.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it is not about them dropping or anything. This thinking about my kids,
Betul.
right? Anak I nak suruh anak I tengok rancangan you. My wife was angry at me last time. I cakap, I think my kids kena belajar sikit tengok cerita. Maybe not.
But I have like my mommy friends who have kids. So now kids sekarang, because they watch a lot of American TV shows, so their grasp of Malay language is very low. So
Ah.
the parents want them to
Oh my
watch
God.
Malay stuff so
Same.
that they are more fluent. Tapi they like, I cannot let my kid
Macam
watch
mana
this
nak-
show.
Tapi cerita yang ni
Yeah.
kan.
No, imagine I show my kids, katalah, wife kena dera and then cerita pasal, you can't because, okay, here's another, if you have time, right? Why Malay films have this sort of like Malay dramas have this thing about rogol and dera and everything else? It's because kita ni semua sexually repressed as a Muslim.
Oh, there you go. Which is true. Which is true.
It's
I agree.
fine.
I
It
agree.
is a taboo. Kalau as a writer macam mana aku nak buat karakter ni have sex? Because you know, well, they're in love, they have sex, and sex sells. Just get her to be raped lah.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Because you cannot show making love.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
But somehow we have seen so many rape scenes, right?
exactly. So we have so many rape scenes.
Yeah.
Then after that, alamak. Tapi there is this guideline that dia kena bertaubat. So, yeah, well, then the woman has to actually
Repent, kahwin.
repent and perhaps
Yeah.
kahwin dengan. Okay, then the story keeps on this again and again and again. Okay, you watch one of the gangster films in the cinema, right?
Yeah.
It's for PG-13. PG-13 means what?
No
Yeah.
children under 13.
No,
yeah.
okay,
No,
no.
13 tahun.
13
Parental
tahun.
guidance.
Parental
Parental
guidance.
guidance, yeah.
So if you have a kids umur dia 4 tahun, dia boleh bawa.
Yeah.
Sekarang dengan parents. You have rape scene. And I was there. And because it's a blockbuster film, parents bring their kids out because they don't have babysitters, right?
Yeah.
So they were watching rape scenes
Ah,
in cinema.
Shit.
So I mean, it's because these things are happening around you. Because kita tak ada cara lain untuk ni, because we are so.
Well, It's true. I think it macam dia, and then the repressed tu ditunjuk sampai we find a way around it, and then it's bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tapi like macam thank God for our kids and the generation of our kids, because our animation is picking up.
Yeah.
So sekurang-kurangnya at least
Yeah.
ada lah
Good
macam
stuff
Upin
lah.
Ipin, we got like Bobo Boy, we got Agent
Agent
Ali.
Agent Ali, right?
So we got good like creative stuff going on in animation, but how do we sustain their interest in the local productions when they get to their teens? Because once they get to their teens, of course they're not going to watch these things anymore.
Yep.
So what is going to cater to them in their teens? I guess mungkin ada a few
That
yang
they-
cater to them, tapi tak cukup banyak.
Yang tak cukup variety.
Tak cukup
Actually,
variety.
right, if you look into all these indie films, macam Bunuhan, Songlap, all this, the sort of like a wave of films that try to break the score, kan? Dia orang sebenarnya dah build the audience. If I make an indie film, I can guess how much the collection would be. Somewhere north 500 to 700,000. That would be your collection. So kalau you want to make money, you have to scale down the cost, right? Okay. In any case, my point is, kalau if there is a good push to have a back-to-back, maksudnya every month there is a release of this kind of film, then you will build momentum to create a bigger audience. So this audience jadi satu, there's a new movie coming out, they can follow this film. So the problem with that film is sebab kita semua work independently, and then there will be gaps in between. So you have like good one to jaga, and then there is a lull. The next time new film
Betul, dia tak ada momentum, dia
Yes.
tak
Ada
ada.
consistency
So,
lah.
so if you want to build it, you gotta have that momentum. Tapi of course, the money comes into picture. So I'm talking about any investor out there who wants to bankroll this. This is a good idea to do. I mean, if Finas wants to bankroll this is also a good idea. If you really want to build your way to Oscars is just about making good film. Then it means you just have to have an idea of what a good film is. So what a good film according to whom? Is it according to the juries that you appoint every year? Then you ask each of them what is a good film. Is it, kan? Because they will decide where this funding will go through. If the funding goes through what they perceive as good film, which is a blockbuster film in Malaysia, which cannot travel, I bet you, semua film that is making a lot of money here, you put it like abroad, can't sell. Because
Confirm.
they can't travel, because it's made specifically for, bukan dia made specifically, it's generic. The
Betul.
film is generic. It doesn't
Betul.
have like an imprint of this is a Malaysian film.
Betul.
It's like a Hong Kong film, but Malaysian version.
Ya, dia tak
A Hong Kong
identity
film,
tu tak ada kan?
tak ada. A Hong Kong film, tapi Iran punya, they won't do that, right? So what I meant is, if you really want to build this thing to Oscars, there's already a movement of people out there trying to make good stuff. Some of them actually ventured abroad to get grants. Bankroll them, have a momentum, build your audience. Then you start seeing something happening.
Tapi this is like Malay language Malay language films. I think we also have our Mandarin industry.
Yeah.
I think our Tamil TV is slowly coming up.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Because I read Sanjay said like, I think a few years ago, all the Tamil series producers like, I think they were angry with Astro because Astro was not commissioning enough local Tamil content. Then they started commissioning more, and alamak.
Dah name drop dah tiba-tiba.
No, bukan name drop. Macam like, cause I rarely watch Astro,
Right.
so I've missed out. I haven't. Whatever, okay, all the producers that I work with in Astro pun bila lunch kan, kau semua borak pasal Netflix kan.
No, but that's true
Oh
though.
shit,
That's
betul.
That's
They-
true though.
They have to watch their own stuff.
Yeah.
They don't watch their own
They
Exactly.
don't watch their own stuff, yeah.
That's true though. Okay, macam ni lah, senang cerita kan. Okay, half of the actors that appear on screen, I'm talking to you guys out there, half of the actors, or in fact all of them, sometimes don't even watch their own thing.
Yeah.
So dia berlakon kan, okay lah dah siap.
Yeah.
I won't watch it.
So I think like the Tamil TV scene is like getting better, right?
Yeah.
They're getting more. So it would be like interesting for you guys to talk to the Mandarin and Tamil guys juga, what are their challenges or whether they don't have challenges, Yeah. That's the thing, we're so polarized kan? Very polarized.
Polarized.
Yeah.
Kalau you nak dapat collection as great as the best collection ever kat Malaysia is Avengers lah, I think. overall.
Or is it like
Overall. Like the highest ticket collection ever for cinema in Malaysia is Avengers. I think it's somewhere around 60 million. The information is there on the internet, but it's somewhere north of 50 million. Right? You imagine 50 million ni is when we are all together in the cinema tak mengira bangsa. Right? So if you make a good film that can get 50 million, you have to make a film that is good enough for everyone.
That
What Nat
reaches
said.
all, yeah.
Well, something that is mass and fun enough, but not too stupid lah.
The
I mean, I'm just gonna be
balance
crass about it. Yeah.
The balance has to be there, and also because macam our industry is already this small, and then sometimes it's broken up into clans for God knows what reason. Macam I don't work with this person, I don't work with this person, I don't work with this person. Susah lah. We're already small, and then you break it down to be even smaller, and then you expect everybody in Malaysia to support you once the film comes out. Then it's hard, no? Because you yourself also taklah bekerja dengan semua orang. You also don't open yourself up. But you are selling your product for, hopefully, for everyone to see. Then hard. Susah. So, mindsets, I guess.
Yeah.
Everybody
But
has
it's changing.
It's changing.
It's changing.
I think
I think there's
realised
more.
it.
Yeah, and there's more co-production.
Yeah.
There's the people with the money who want to work with people with a good story. So now I feel like it's slowly changing now.
Even like a certain producer who normally writes for like drama 7 petang, macam memang actually approached me and said, I'm so tired of directing the same shit over and over again, and I want to do something different. Please give me something different. I don't. But the limitation is still you have. I mean, these are the actors to tarik penonton.
Yeah.
This is the time
Within
limit.
that
timeline.
And this is the timeline. But those are the limitations. But it's a start.
Here's an idea.
It's the start.
You guys should write about, say, Islamic, right? You imagine kita punya Islamic content semua yang very Islam. Kenapa you tak buat a very realistic show about being a Muslim in Malaysia? You imagine, you imagine something like curb
I
your.
tengah tulis sekarang sebenarnya.
Oh, ya kan?
Tunggu, it's coming
Like
out.
macam a show like curb your enthusiasm or Parks and Rec version, right? Say let's just say a Muslim guy trying to become Muslim, ada anak dia liberal apa semua, and it's just
That'd be
doing
great.
Tak ada,
exactly.
macam Rami. Have you watched Rami?
Apa dia?
It's a story pasal this Muslim guy who's like trying to be a better Muslim, but he likes to have sex. So many Muslims can connect with that. So it's like it's set in America, but you know, if you're a Muslim in like Thailand or whatever, you watch this, you're like, you know, oh, I get it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, dia macam kita terlalu.
Universal themes lah,
I mean,
right?
kita tak real lah in our approach.
But that brings us to a different issue, which is censorship.
Habis lah kita buat ni.
Censorship is like a whole
then there's
different
censorship,
segment. Yeah, then there's censorship. You
Yeah.
cannot-
No, we gotta get
Really?
take a chill pill skip with the censorship lah, for instance. I mean, what's wrong with say portraying a real Malay Muslim character? It's the reality here. I mean, right?
Betul.
I mean, katalah for instance, all Muslims want to get better, but in the journey to get better, are they not?
Ya, ada
Right?
macam ni.
Yeah.
Do you know, trivia, do you know that to write for a particular Islamic channel, which I shall not
Oh.
name,
Yeah.
there's a guidebook.
Oh my god.
There's
Yeah,
a guidebook.
yeah,
The
yeah,
guidebook
yeah.
is like this thick. There's a guidebook. And among the, semua orang kena menutup aurat. Which I'm sorry to say, that in itself is already a limitation.
Yalah sebab
Kan, sebab
kita
bukannya
introduce-
semua
semua
orang
orang,
dekat
yeah,
dalam Malaysia
yeah.
menutup aurat.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, kan. Okay, satu. And then kalau you ada scene di mana ada seorang perempuan dan seorang lelaki ajnabi. So, diorang tak boleh berborak pandang macam ni. I'm serious. Tak boleh borak. Pandang macam ni. Reza kena pandang sana, aku kena pandang sini. Dan kena ada third person untuk accompany lah.
Yelah, kalau tak person
obviously.
ni syaitan lah.
Betul. So these are the
Yeah.
But it was also interesting because I actually wanted to challenge myself. Can
I?
I still make a good story with all these limitations?
Limitations,
Right?
yeah.
How interesting
Long
would it
distance
be?
relationship.
Ah,
No
there you
problem.
go.
Yeah. Then it will be a writing exercise in its
That's
own
the thing
lah.
Writers in Malaysia have to face with the challenges of censorship lah. Macam, okay, scene husband and wife tak boleh buat in the bedroom. Mesti nak borak kat mana? Those kind of things. Yeah.
No, actually itulah. But I rasa this whole knowledge should audience should know.
Yeah.
Sebab sometimes dia orang kata, kenapa cerita kita semua macam ni? Inilah reason dia.
And there was this one. There's also macam this one mainstream channel. Mungkin tak nak namakan. Korang semua tahu sendirilah. Kalau the heroine is a protagonist, of course preferably dia pakai tudung. Tapi kalau dia tak pakai tudung, dia tak boleh colour rambut. You can't have coloured hair. Because if you have coloured hair, you're automatically
The
the
bitch.
antagonist.
What?
The bad girl.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
You're automatically the
Boring
bad girl.
ya.
Betul.
Dan kalau dia colour rambut, becomes antagonist, dia kena repent kan?
Dia kena repent.
Or die.
Or die.
Kena ada balasan. That's what they say.
Kena repent.
Oh,
or
dia
die.
that moral punya.
Got consequences to your choices
Oh,
lah.
man.
Yeah.
Kena. You tak boleh
For dyeing your hair.
like bad
Pening
guys
your
can't
hair,
win.
yeah.
Bad guys.
No, why can't
cannot
we have a show that makes fun of all this?
Like a bow finger.
Like a writer's room that talks about all this. Where can I sell it?
I've done it. I've
Yeah,
done
yeah,
satu.
yeah.
It's entitled Drama 7 Petang. It was like a parody.
Yeah, that
of
was
this
good.
thing.
But when
But it was on Snack TV. It was
Then
on an OTT, which
I see.
is free by the way.
Unify kan?
Tapi
Then
it
tak
was
ada
not
continuation.
publicized or I don't know. Tak tahu.
Is it still there?
Kena
It's still there. It's all free content.
No, actually it's quite good. So you guys should actually pitch it somewhere else.
Call it something else.
Kan?
Yeah.
Actually call it something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Maybe freshen up the angle as well.
Yeah.
Alright guys. I had so much fun. Maybe because I'm a writer myself, so I can relate to a lot of the problems. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining me in my little Ruang Tamu
Thank you
ini.
for having us.
And I wish you well in all your projects, upcoming projects after COVID. We don't know macam mana kan. And okay, so thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions you want to ask the judges, you can go to the Twitter
Twitter and Instagram.
Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah, any young writers out there who already have a portfolio and you think you want to venture into writing for TV or anything, you can just DM me via Instagram or
There
via
you go.
Twitter. I'm open to.
They are both open.
Very open, yeah. No, because we
Well.
need writers. Nado and I were just talking like we need writers. Luckily there's a demand for writers. Yeah.
This is the time lah where everybody is going into development.
Yeah. Kalau you pergi LinkedIn and then they did a report tau, like jobs in the future kan, writers are still needed.
Because AI can't replace us.
Yes.
All right.
Right. Kan?
Thank you so much again, and we will see you again in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.